Hi, this is Em, and I am getting ready to put some flowers away that are just fresh out of the press into their place where they're going to live now until I use them. And so I thought I'd take a few minutes to go ahead and do some peeking at flowers. I get a lot of people that ask, well, how long do the colors last? And when I do pressed flower demonstrations, they want to know what they look like after they're pressed. I've done some other peeking at pressed flower videos if you look back in the timeline, and today I think I might have a few others that I haven't shown you yet because it's a little bit later in the season. So anyway, we'll see if you're interested in listening to me do a little narrative on how long the colors last and any particular little insight that I've gleaned over the years on why I press what I press and what they look like when they come out. Follow along, and if you get bored, as usual, scrub along the timeline. So having said that, let's go through a couple of bundles that are one that I'm getting ready to put away, and then we'll quickly leaf through another one that's being cycled through the pressing process. These are the sheets that I sandwich, and I won't go into great detail about that whole what do I use, how do I press, because again, if you go back in the timeline, you'll see all that stuff. But they're ready to go into the storage. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to take a pencil and my little sticky notes, and I'm going to write on there, and I'll just do one to show you what I do when I get ready to put them away. And I can tell by looking through this, it's just copy paper that I did these on, that we have orange salvia, this is a bush yellow potentilla, and lobelia. And so I'll take what I consider, this is kind of a variety page, what is the most important to me, and well, they're all important, so I'm just going to put lobelia, and it's just my own hand scratchings, just so, and then I put yell potent, because I know what that means, and then I'm going to put, what did I say there? Oh, orange salvia. And then I'm going to take this little flag, and I'm going to put it on here, and I stagger my flags, and then I'm going to put it in my storage book, and again, other videos go into that. So that's really all I'm going to talk about there. On this sheet, I'll bring it up closer so that we can actually focus on some things. This is lobelia, and when it comes to lobelia, I generally press the most saturated colors, and that's true of all flowers. We have light lobelia, there's white lobelia, and then we've got these dark blues, crystal palace, and some other things like that. And I just find that the more saturated the color, the longer the color lasts and the better they make it through. And I don't know why this camera is blinking. You're going to just have to put up with it. It's a little annoying, but ever since I upgraded the software on this camera, it's been doing that, and I don't know how to solve it. Lobelia will hold their color for a good long time. So if you're looking for something that holds its color and you can be happy using lobelia, put that on your list. This is the orange, I believe it's like an orange salvia. It's a garden plant, easy to find in your garden centers. And I press them both after this part of the flower's fallen out because I really like the shape. And then here's the total floret. This is a bush potentilla, and they hold their color pretty well. They will mellow. They'll start to mellow over a little bit of time, but they still look really pretty. And again, they're a good color holder. So that's what's on this particular sheet here. And yes, you're going to watch me put these back real quick because I don't want to lose them. And this is another full sheet of lobelia. I'm only going to highlight ones that have different flowers. Here's some pansy, and they want to stick right in the center there. So you've seen me in other videos talk about the rolling technique where you put a finger here and you kind of roll the paper back. So hopefully you won't rip it apart, and just kind of tease it off. And then that's another. This is a bush potentilla, the yellow one that I already showed you. This is more of a ground potentilla. It grows low to the ground, and it's really pretty. And do I have anything? Oh, here. Oh, this is, I think, another form of potentilla. Don't quote me on that. I love, love, love the variegation of color on this. And I don't have very many of them, unfortunately. All of these hold their color really well. And when I say really well, I mean, you know, if you don't ever put them in direct sunlight, and you know, that's an enemy of flowers. But if you keep them out of, you know, super bright or direct sunlight, you know, they'll last for probably a year, 2 years, and then often cases even longer. And of course, if you make a bookmark out of them, or you use them in somewhere where they're between pages as a bookmark, like I just said, they'll last even longer because they're not really getting a whole lot of light. And there's the back. That was the back. Okay. So all right. Then let's see what's on this page. This is bachelor buttons. These are florets. I take the bachelor button and then I take the florets off. And then this is red lobelia. Same comment, or excuse me, verbena. Same comment about verbena, and then this is a dark blue. Same comment about verbena that I did about the plant I talked about a couple minutes ago, which is the more saturated the color, and these verbena are very highly saturated. The more saturated the color, the longer the color lasts, and the more vibrant it is when it comes out of the press. So this year I've got mostly these blue and the red, and then the more saturated dark blue bachelor buttons, they hold pretty good, and pink will do okay depending, again, the more saturated the better. Okay, let me put these back real quick. Let me add while you're watching so I can part information. These are pretty sheer. Verbena holds their color for a super long time, not just reasonable, I mean super long time. So they're another one to put on your list. And I can't remember if I told you about how long the color lasts on violas, but these smaller pansy violas, to me, their color lasts longer than, say, the large pansies. And again, the more saturated. These, the ones that I just showed you a minute ago, they last, their color holds pretty good. Let's see what's different on here. Here we have Pentus, Coral Bell. There's a lot of different Coral Bells on the market. I've got different ones. And there's a yellow pansy. The yellow pansies hold their color for a really long time. Let's see if I can get this off without breaking it. And anything else on here? What's this guy? Is that just a... Okay, this is alyssum. A lot of people know alyssum by the white fragrant alyssum, and then of course they come in different purples and other rosy colors and that type of thing. Here's a spike of coral bells. Hold this up. Lasts a long time. Color lasts really good. These last a really long time. Even alyssum color holds well. I primarily press flowers that I know, and I hate to keep sounding like a broken wheel if you've watched a lot of my videos, but I've been pressing flowers for, I'm going to say 40 years, not to give away my age, but I started as a teenager, a young teenager pressing flowers. So, and through the years, I've just come to know what, in my opinion, because everybody's opinion is different, what I think holds their color the best, and that's what I tend to grow and press. So most of the things that I show you, for the most part, are fairly decent color holders. These pentas are star-shaped. They're hard to find. I had my, I guess you'd call it like a boutique nursery in my area, order some for me. And I will bring the plant inside for the winter because otherwise it'll die. And I don't want to have to go through finding one. There's a lot of, so you can kind of see how I can tell. There's a lot of pentas on here. Here, maybe it'd be quicker if I just roll this back instead of taking off the page. But there's what they look like in profile. That's the pentas. And then they're star-shaped when they don't. And there's nothing else on here that I haven't shown you. Okay, here is, sometimes it takes a while to get my act together. Let's bring it up and show you. This is a, I have to use the roll technique. This is a bidden, and these are pretty large, but as they flower and as the season goes on, oftentimes the flowers become smaller. So the later season flowers are going to be smaller. What I really like about the bidden is you see the vines in there. It's just really a cool texture. These hold their color forever. Now, forever, of course, it's not really forever, but we're talking years and years and years. They're really a good color holder. That's the front, and that's the back. So I love those. Okay, so that's all bidden and viola. Let's see, everything I've shown you. Oh no, here's something that I didn't show you yet. Butterfly weed. I really like the orange one, and I've got some orange ones, but they haven't flowered yet. I've been babying around with them for years. But there's one called, I think this is called Cinderella. And what they are is they're kind of a pinkish down here and kind of a yellowish up here. And I like to color enhance these a little bit to bring out the pinkish and the yellow ones. And I've got a detailed videos on color enhancing if anybody is interested in that. But those are butterfly weed. I don't know what the technical name is, but they're really good. I like them. They're good for miniature work. We're just getting into Queen Anne's lace season. I cannot live without Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace for me, Queen Anne's lace is to me in pressed flower work what gypsophilia is to the florist. Here's the back, and then here's the front. And again, the early season Queen Anne, these will be larger, and then they get smaller as the season goes on. And they do. And these will hold their color, well, they'll look good with their kind of off-whitish color for quite a while. So those are wonderful. That's another one that I can't live without, that I just love, is the oregano. I think people have heard me, if you watch my videos, of talking about the herbs, the florets on the herbs, but here's the oregano, and these hold their color again forever. The leaves hold their color really well. The purplish color holds really well. I usually pick them just before they go into full flower. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but right here is just you can see the remnant of a flower starting. And I didn't really pick too many with the flowers. I probably should have. I don't know why. Probably because I just really like them like that. But they look good with the flowers, and they look good with the purple color. And the nice thing about something like this that you always want to be thinking of when you're working with pressed flowers is you can work with the full piece, but then you can take a piece off like this section and work with a section. Here's a small section, and then these guys you can even further, I'll sacrifice one here, you can even drill down into these really tiny little pieces for miniature work. So always be thinking when you're looking at your flowers, you know, that it isn't just what you see in the appearance. It's how you can pick it apart and use different sections. Here's more oregano, oregano, oregano. Okay, now we're getting down toward the bottom of this particular pile. Here's a couple leaves I did. This is, I think it's mom leaves. That's perennial. And those hold their color pretty good. And then this is Queen Anne's lace leaf. They hold their color pretty good. And I love the shape. And again, you can drill down and just use the small little pieces like that, or you can use this section here, or you can use the whole section. And same with these. I find myself in miniature work taking, here, let's take this guy. I'll go ahead and break it up. I'll use little pieces like that, tuck it under another flower. I'll use sections like this, and then sometimes I'll just use the very tips of things when I just need a little accent. So both leaves and flowers can be drilled down to whatever size that you need for the project that you're working on. And then we're going to get into some bigger flowers. This is, I think, some sort of pot marigold or something. I can't remember. I'm trying to experiment to get a better press. I'm not really totally happy with the way these turned out. I've got some that turned out better than this. So just keep trying. Don't get disappointed, because you can do better, or I have done better. And you can always use florets. I mean, if you're making an arrangement, take these florets and stick them under something else, you know, as an accent. And, you know, work different little accents. Like if you're into mandalas and you wanted to do a circle with some radiating stuff, you could put those yellow things around here and do your little, since mandalas are a big thing right now, you can use it for accents for stuff like that. I thought this turned out pretty good. This is a dahlia, and a lot of you, if you watched my heat press echo steaming video, saw me using dahlias for that. Well, here's where I actually pressed one. Now what I did, which helps to get it through, is because they're so thick and bulky, I actually took off some of the petals on the back, because this was wider when I brought it in, and I plucked off some of the back petals so that this was thinner when I pressed it, and it came out, it made it through the press, I think, really well. No browning, no nothing. It looks great. This is, I don't know what it is. I'm thinking osteospermum or some other, you know, don't quote me on any of these names, but something in the family where you get at the garden centers. This is the front, and this is the back. And this is the first year I had this particular flower, and that I've pressed it. I'm suspecting that because they're so saturated and because of the family of flower that they're in, that they'll probably hold their color for a pretty good amount of time. I just think so. That's the same thing. Now this is another one. I bought about 3 or 4 different types of these. I'm going to say osteospermum, but I don't know. But anyway, I bought a couple different kinds of these type of plants this year that I've never pressed. This one is kind of weird. I mean, it's cool weird, not bad weird. That's the front, and that's the back, which I actually think the back looks pretty good too. I love the way this radiates out. And again, because this is so saturated, I think the color will hold pretty good. And then I've got one more in this pile, which is this. I think, is there anything different on here? It's more of the same things I just showed you. Oh, this is really another one of the ones I purchased. Look at how pretty the variegation is on this. The way it's light and then it radiates out to the dark. I think that's just gorgeous. And then this is a cosmos, a form of a cosmos, and it's the orange. I got orange and yellow. Now I'm thinking this might be the orange. But there's that one. And then the yellow. These hold their color for a really, really long time too. And these are just now starting to flower, so hopefully I can get some more and some better ones. Okay, so that's this pile. And I'm going to go real quick over this because I don't want this video to get too terribly long. See if there's anything that I haven't shown you yet. This is, I'm actually in round 2 on this pile. This will go into the press for one more time. I usually do 3 cycles. I label my piles. This says 8, whatever today's date is, Sunday, and this is going to be round 2, so that I know with all my piles over there in the pressing situation what is. This is dwarf goat's beard leaves. I like the shape. They add a little different flair to your projects. And then this is a form of a crane's bill, which is in the what do you call it? What's that family? Geranium family. This is sort of yarrow. Yarrow is excellent for miniature work. Another one that I can't live without, because I take these little florets and use them in miniature work and jewelry. Those are great for that. These are to miniature work for me what Queen Anne's lace is to the flower arrangements. And I don't think there's anything else I haven't shown you. Showed you that. Showed you that. Oh, we're just getting into larkspur season. And so I've got some blue, dark blue, some pink. This whole page is blue. Oh. Another thing that's coming on now, and these are kind of wildflower seeds. I call it tick seed. These hold their color forever. And that is these guys. I love those. And then you can see the larkspur, the pink larkspur. And then there's larkspur in profile that I'm pressing. See if I can get them back down without ruining them. Like I say, these are still damp. So, hydrangea have been doing for quite a while now. They're getting kind of spent on the bush. Here's a... Now this is the back side of the hydrangea. Let me turn one over before I bring it up to the camera. Okay, so there's a cosmos, the garden variety that you find in all your garden centers, and then hydrangea off my bush. Hydrangeas hold their color really well, and these cosmos, the dark saturated ones, like this deeper red, they hold their color forever too. They're really, really a color holder. Liatris, they are unique because they flower from the top down, whereas most flowers, generally speaking, flower from the bottom up, but they flower from the top down. They're a spike, and the spike is too bulky to press the whole spike. So I'm just pressing the florets, and those work well, and they hold their color good. And they add a little bit of interest into your arrangements. So that's on here. Some more Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace, Liatris. Here's some more of those pot mirror or whatever they are, marigold things. I'm not, they're too wet. I don't think I want to try to show you, but I'm thinking this one, you can see the little ghost through there, is a little looking better than the ones that I showed you that were already totally dry. The other thing that's just the ending now for the season is Montbretia. And you've heard me say that I really like the orange Montbretia. And these are the orange Montbretia. And they flower on the bush. They flower like this. You know, the more wide open flowers are lower on the spike, and then as you go up the spike, they're more closed. And I like both the spike and the larger flowers. And they are more of a profile flower. They're not really an open face. More Montbretia. More Montbretia. And I think that's about it. Okay, all right. So that's all I was going to show you for today. Hopefully I didn't bore you and you learned a little bit. Most everything in these two piles that I showed you have pretty good color retention, and some of them have excellent color retention. And so hopefully I've given you some information or inspiration, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.